Oh, shit. It's 2:30 p.m. So one, maybe two. Let's see. This is it. Maybe I've had it before, but I don't quite remember. Probably a good reason as to why I don't remember. And it's the facts and back. Doesn't really say anything too much in it. And from what I read, it doesn't say too much about it either. So when you go into a raw, already pretty tired still. It's still in 77 degrees, which is good weather, but usually around this time, even during the summer, usually it's around like 65. Whatever. Um, that's one of the reasons why I decided to move where I moved to, because it's not as hot. So yeah, I'm getting pretty close to everyone. Keeping up my ice water on deck. Ice is already pretty much melted. Well, collaborated one giant like deformed cube. I tell you, these cups they've done wonders so far. As far as like keeping ice in, even at like 100 degrees, and all I have is this fan right here. Even at 100 degrees, I can still have like a cup of ice just like sitting in the cup for about a good 30, 45 minutes. So I just got like a bad on my shoulder. With sand. So we got internet access here now, and as soon as I went to turn my computer, lo and behold, the keyboard's broken. So now I have to buy a new one. But fuck. So thinking after my first check, which I have a meeting next week for my for the restaurant, the job opening. It's technically a second interview, but I already know I'm hired. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, but it is what it is. Technology, if it sits there and it gets dusty and kind of musky, so it's relatively old uh, keyboard anyway. So thinking about like I'm a gamer, man. Like any keyboard works out. If I have to be completely honest with you, but you know, all right. And it smells like Warheads a little bit. You get it smells like the cherry Warhead. There's a bunch of bullshit in it. I know I'm gonna need the water on deck for this. So oh god, because I was in the mood for candy. Oh. And that's why I got the water. Just a sip of it. Just get all the crap out of my mouth. Lord, yeah, it tastes like a. It don't taste like the candy. Maybe like very slight hints, but it doesn't remind me of it. Like the only way it reminds me of it is if I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's that. But it does not. It's not. It's pretty foul. Um, I mean, it tastes like. It reminds me of when went to a senior prom in high school, and someone would spike the punch bowl and didn't really know what they were doing because they're high school kids. That's what it tastes like. Oh. So, whew, yeah, that sucks. I still have the rest of this too. I think I'm gonna let it sit for a second. So, my mom, kind of like me, she's into scratchers a lot, and she keeps all of her scratchers because she doesn't scam or anything like that. She'll look over them just to because she gets the crosswords, and then she had me go through her fucking mountain of scratchers that she thought were losers. I found $11 in that pile. I was like, here you go, mom. It was a good call. That was a lot of work though, and it kind of gave me PTSD from when I worked retail because I had to. There were times when people would hand me like big piles, like bigger piles of like scratchers that they think they're losers, but they're like, yeah, we know there's an app to it that we could check it with, but we're just gonna have you do it. Not even scratch the barcode, so you're gonna have to sit there and keep going and keep going and keep going. It's in the back of my head because of I'm like I have a million things else that I can do within the store right now than deal with your bullshit. You know what I mean? Like there's two areas that need to be restocked right now, and you're handing me this. But she's my mom, so it's like, yeah, I'll do it for her, not a problem. But I did tell her that like this reminded me of like all the tweakers who would like come up with like piles of scratchers and just throw them at me. It ain't worth it, man. But now she has a pile that she can enter in the second chance, so there you go. And she's $11 up than what she thought she was. So I mean, $11 is $11, but at the same time, this economy, you take what you can get. You know what I mean? especially these days, like $10 with groceries. Like, yeah, it doesn't get you that much, but it'll get you something. You know, 10 bucks could feed a dinner for four for a night or something like that. And, you know, think of it that way. It's definitely something. Or you know, for her to buy her like a pack of cigarettes or something. I mean, $10 is $10. I wouldn't go out of my way and go through hurdles for $10, but I would definitely look over like a pile of scratchers that weren't checked for $10. You know what I mean? It took me about a good 20 minutes, but yeah, now it's starting to say 13.9. It's like a mother. Makes you want to slap your mom. We almost cooked tonight. Said it was too hot. We weren't that hungry. Had a burger and a couple hot dogs today throughout the day, and that was good enough for me. I might cook something in the middle of the night. I don't know. It already is close to the middle of the night, so I mean, I think the coldest that it actually gets around here, around these parts, is around between 2 and 3 a.m. You know, once I start working again sometime next week, I don't have an exact date. I just know that's when I'm supposed to have a meeting with sometime next week. But the restaurant's opening, so they're still kind of gathering everything together and what they want to do, and all I gotta do is show up and interview close, talk business, let them know why I still want to cook. You know, be about it, be really about it. You know, because when I met the head chef, humble as fuck. You know, that's the kind of person I want to work with. All he said was like the menu's going to be relatively simple. They want everything just get kind of pushed out, but we want to do nice. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, most places, I get you, I hear you. The only vibe that it gives me is it gives me this weird vibe that I worked for a restaurant for about 3 weeks and ended up just not working out because they're just like, oh, that restaurant only gave me 10 hours a week, and I just did not feel involved at all. I felt like I was just another body. You know what I mean? And can't live off of 10 hours a week. Can't learn a recipe off of 10 hours a week of work. So I can't learn a menu. I should say you can learn a recipe of 10 hours a week, but can't learn the menu with 10 hours a week unless you like study the menu at home. But then who wants to do that? I mean, you're supposed. When I remember that interview, I said I'm a hands-on learner, straight up. If I don't get enough practice to cook, what you guys want me to cook, to where you meet your standards and my standards as well, to get an understanding, I don't know. I know it could be to my standards, but restaurants tend to have a different standard as to what they want. Sometimes a little bit more than me, sometimes a little bit less. It really depends. I can work either way. And yeah, so uh, but with this place, it seems like it's very promising. So I think the painting crew, I know it's been very hard at work painting out that area, painting out the abandoned restaurant, doing a shit ton of work. So putting this is definitely going to be a must. I just did all that fucking work for 3 weeks straight. So I mean, yeah, I offered to help, but they're like, "Oh, we have the help that we need." Okay, turns out they got it done in time. So I offered to help us kind of like a kind gesture. Also needed the hours too to keep myself busy, but then the life happened. But anyway. Okay. You son of a bitch. Okay, this is kind of like a nice change of pace. So I can go on here and have people time for a change. Instead of just going on to a live stream and listen to everybody else. Like, you need the company right now. They were drunk. So I'll just listen. Not to falter anybody who does that. I'm the same way. I think most drinkers are the same way. So it's just that it is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. Where they want a minute or nap. That's why people go out to bars and get drunk because they're looking for companionship. So, or that's a nice way to put it. They're looking for fun. Okay. There. Oh, to the trash can. No, you're doing. That actually gave me goosebumps. People always tell me I'm like the king of donut shit like that, but damn, I don't know if I want the title anymore. So I'm good now. But you know, like 2 cups back to back, kind of back to back. I had to give myself a break after the first half, and then it settled because I know if I did the whole 24, then that would not suffice. Gotta slow down these things. But yeah, so this keyboard was a nice keyboard too. It wasn't like top notch or anything. It wasn't expensive, but for what it was, it's pretty solid. Um, you can take the keyboards for about like $10 around here, but they're like made of plastic and cheap plastic and stuff. Technically, they still work, but now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't gamed on my computer for about 2 months ever since I moved out here. Trying to figure out what I want. What I want to do. And, where am I going to make the most money? Um, And I spoke about that pretty pretty well. A buddy of mine who owns the card shop where I buy my Magic cards. I talked to him about that pretty briefly. I didn't want to go too much into detail, um, just because if you're at a place to chill out and just game, you don't want to talk about work that much. But all I told him was just like, yeah, I'm getting back into cooking. You know, I tried a grocery, but if I have to be honest with you, grocery don't pay for shit. And he already knew, like, oh yeah, it doesn't. Like he already knew. He never even touched grocery, but he's been told, yeah, it doesn't pay well. This you want to do it for the rest of your life, but no, you don't. So no one does. Do I got to goodies? Well, not really goodies, but this and some parrots. Yes, these bags are pretty solid too. I'll be right back. Clean this up. Washed. Yeah, but yeah, trust me, this going to come in a couple of weeks or so. This is going to be a lot more interesting because then I get to hook up my computer again. And I already have an area. Pretty much where my phone is right now is where my webcam's going to be, and I'll be able to play music in the background, stuff like that. Through my headset, just like old times. And despite what I just drank, I am keeping my drinking like to a chill mode, just because I don't want to deviate away from reality too much. So sometimes it's fun to do so, but now because things are getting pretty serious, uh, I'm choosing not to because I choose to embrace it more than that. Mainly, this is just to keep my mind somewhat distracted. Because I mean, hell, it's not as if I'm going out and buying a fifth every day and trying to black out or anything like that. That's destructive. So no, that's not the way we're gonna roll with that. But thinking maybe either A, rest, and then try this out. Try this with a mango. Join somewhere else. I don't really know because now it's just me waiting for 10 minutes or so. And after that, see where I'm at. Um, it's kind of like a weird sugar high. Um, Joji, Stan, what we do, let me guess both. But it's a weird sugar high. Like I know, like if I was going to game right now, like play League of Legends, something like that, I'd be somewhat fine. If I was playing normals, if I was playing rank, fuck no, because when I play ranks, I'm highly focused. Right now, I'm way too relaxed. Can't play rank in any MOBA or competitive game. You have to have your nutrition on point. You have to have your mind in the right spot, and then you can fucking go. 'Cause despite the fact that people think it's a little bit sweaty, it is definitely what it is. Um, it gets exciting. It really does, especially League. And I'll tell you this much: I miss playing League a lot, and and I think tomorrow I'm going to look up as to how I can maybe get this keyboard back into fixing. Maybe I could like take it apart, figure out what's going on. Maybe I can fix it from the inside out. It could also be something that's like maybe just has to be plugged in the back or like in another USB port. It could be something like that. I haven't tried everything yet, but thinking something along those lines, like it has to be something. And, and I would like to hop back on. And I would like to go on Twitch again. 'Cause Twitch is fun. I get people messaging me too, for my Twitch community saying, "Oh, did you stop streaming? Did you stop?" I'm like, no, no, not exactly. I'm doing the bare minimum that I can with my phone right now, and that's pretty much all I got for now. Streaming is another thing that I don't really want to stop at, especially when it comes to League. I'll tell you why. Because I've always gotten the bad rep for continuing to play the game. Um, I think for me, I've been gaming competitively. As far as like card games, tabletop, that's when my competitiveness started. Outside of maybe when I was 11, when I played Super Smash Brothers, that was just with my circle of friends. Uh, I was really good at that, but my competitiveness didn't really rise until I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh around the age of like 13, 14. And ever since then, like card games, tabletop, everything that had me be competitive has always drifted me towards the people who I still am friends with to this day. So when it comes to League, it was the same concept. Most of my friends have left the game because of the community, and I don't believe in even if you're playing a 5v5, I don't believe in constantly blaming everybody else, especially when you're in lower elo. Like there's room for you to get better. Like yeah, some people just straight up fuck up, and some people just straight up beat, and they do it on purpose. But sit there and blame people like all the time. And I'm not really that great of a mascot to say that you shouldn't. But when you do that, and I'm saying it from my personal experience, when you do that, you deviate away from what you're supposed to be doing. Start focusing on them. You get frustrated and you start bullying other people as if you're some tough shit. Not. You know you're not. Stop it. And especially within that community, it's very easy to look up their win rate ratio with whatever champion they decide to play with. And usually when that happens, it's like, oh, 35% win rate. Huh? But that's why you're talking shit. You think it's everybody else's fault when you only win a third of your games. Hey, when they say you gotta climb, they mean up, not down, right? We're gonna see what this is. And go. Okay, distracted. Play for magic cards. Wow. Or pow. It's still like 73 degrees outside. It's not cold enough. It needs to be like 30. I'm just kidding. 30 would be too much for me. But it was a big step because going from where I was to where I am now, it was a big step because I decided to. I made it like a self decision to tell myself that the position I was in now was fine, technically, but I kind of knew like deep down, like if I kept staying where I was going to get complacent, and it was not enough. Hindsight 2020, it was, but the other hindsight was it's like it wasn't my own place, and my friend and he'd always have like the AC running, you know, at around like 70 constantly, no matter how hot or how cold it was. He'd have that. He would. It was just that, And for a while, I was just like I didn't mind living just off of like top ramen for about a week. So put like throwing like egg and meats and stuff like that in there, but I didn't mind it just because my body was comfortable. But I felt like if I made myself a little bit uncomfortable, then that will drive me like subconsciously. I mean, start taking things more seriously. Because I swear, man, like I had to do so many W-2s from last year. I think around like seven. Seven. It was gnarly. But I had to do my tax return. I got a decent tax return, but like when I look at it, it's like, yeah, this could affect my credit score. Thank God it didn't. But and now that I have finally a read on my credit score to what it is, now I know what I can get. Now I know like, oh, I am qualified to have an apartment if I make the right amount of money. Okay, you know, because a couple years ago, that was definitely not the case, and I had to work my tail off to fix my mistakes in that department. I was around like 570 2 years ago. Now I'm at 620. Starting my credit score goes, so plus 50 in 2 years or so. I'll take it. Now my credit score is fair. It's not good, but it's fair enough. You're like, hey, you want this apartment? Yeah, okay. It's not like I'm gonna try and take like a huge ass loan or anything like that. I'm not gonna do that kind of shit. Not again. Not again. That was usually there is because I sometimes think like if I did, I could eventually just pay it back, right? Like I don't want it. Like my logic states, don't put yourself through that. So you don't have to. Don't do it. This must happen. Okay. Set yourself up. Here we go. Steel with a mango. I hope this surprises fairly. Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. So that does not mix. Well, those two I just had, they do, but it doesn't mix with the last one I had because everything's still in my system. It tasted fine going down, but then once it hit my stomach, it's just like, oh, that was interesting. It's like only volcano try to keep it down. So see, I think that's enough of that. For now, it's crazy how much this or how long this my desktop has lasted. It's like 6 years. I haven't even done anything to it. And yet it can still stream. It can still play video games. A decent amount of them. They can't play any of it like the newer ones, but it does. But it does. You know what I mean? It does what it needed to. Streams just fine. Holds everything just fine. I can do dual screens on it just fine. This thing rocks. Lenovo is a great brand, a great brand to buy into a computer with, in my opinion. Plus, this thing's very tiny. I had to move it like 3, 4 times in the last 3 years. So everywhere I've had it, had it set up, it's worked out. Disassembling everything takes like 5 minutes. I'd be honest with you. Make sure everything's like put away together. As long as it's taken care of. If you're not doing anything like shady on a computer like this, then it tends to last for quite some time. I know that like sometime in the future, I'm definitely in due for I'm due for an upgrade. But for what it's worth, this computer is I don't know. Like I feel like even if I do like upgrade it or like upgrade from it, this is what I should say. I think I'm still gonna keep it just because I've had a lot of memories with it. You know what I mean? So I think it's just one of those things that's just like take care of it, especially the screen. The screen that I have. When I first bought this screen, the screen alone was like $300, but I bought it in 2016 and it still works just fine. It's still a little bit dirty right now, but um, that aside, like it's badass. It's badass. It's energy sufficient. You know, um, it runs like a charm. Only thing with my setup right now that I can have a beef with a little bit is my webcam. That's because that webcam is like a little over 8 years old. But even then, it still runs. And the video capture of it still it's still there. I mean, it's still compatible with everything that's came out, like everything afterwards. And there's like almost no reason to replace it per se. And I do a lot of recording on it when I'm on it, uh, so it's really hard to say if it's worth like the extra $100 to replace it. I don't know. I really don't. I'd have to like look into something like that, but that's like it's my domain. This computer setup is kind of like my domain. It's where I feel is safest. Uh, ever since I was a kid, 14, 16. Ever since I was 14 to 16 years old, you know, somewhere in there along those lines. Whenever I seriously started getting into music, um, when I first adapted my own room, I think when I first got my own room, it was when I turned 15. I think I'd have to ask about that. I don't know. Um, but when I got my own room, it's you know when I started picking up music, and I was deep heavy into it, deep heavy, and I had my own headset, had everything going on, had it. The room had the computer, it had the couch because I was like, well, I think at that point it was like either my family gets rid of it or I could find a way to put it to my room. I remember just like it was. I'm not going to say yesterday because it wasn't yesterday, and I know that. But I remember fondly, is what I should say, when I actually remodified that entire my entire room from what it used to be. And I remember it because I have memories of how it was, and then what I turned it into. You know, what it was is I have a big dresser, had a TV with my uh, had a PS2 at the time. Had that set up. The TV was on a big dresser. The TV wasn't really that impressive, but it was good enough to run a PS2 at the time. Right with that was my twin size bed, and then I had I think it was a computer desk. I don't think it was built to be a computer desk, but it worked out as one. And then I had a computer, and my mom handed it down to me from somebody else somehow. I don't quite remember how that computer came to us, but I don't think it necessarily mattered to me. I don't think it still does. Uh, it's the fact that it was brought. And I was able to look up like YouTube videos, uh, how to learn how to play bass guitar at the time. Went heavy into YouTube and YouTube music. And YouTube's been around for about 15 years, and I turned 35. So, well, even before that, huh? I don't know how long YouTube's been around. I definitely know that I was still into music. I mean, there's other platforms I was getting myself into anyway, but YouTube was the main one. I think YouTube came out when I was in sophomore year. I got to be completely honest, and I think it's a lot to recap. It's a fifth of a century, so give me a break. But yeah, so I had the computer set up there with the chair. It was a pretty small room, but I was able to make do with what was there, and I did all the measurements, stuff like that. Got all the measuring tape, decorated the room. Okay, so this couch can fit through here. The desk was a nice snug between my twin size bed and my couch, and there's a little bit of walking space. And that's it. A little bit of walking space. And I don't remember at the time if I if I teased getting a mini fridge in there, but I decided against it. I didn't get a mini fridge until I started drinking, because then that's when I got like a little bit defensive about uh, having my beer out there, in the main kitchen or wherever we lived, because people would come up and drink it. That would suck because I'd be like, so on and so forth. If you need to have one of my beers, you best wait until I get home from work, and then we can have one. That was me. It still is. We can have one together. I don't care if I pay for it or not. Don't take it if I'm not. And when I had my own room from 2016, when I was having roommates, that law of mine was so fucking so disrespected, to the point where it just got ridiculous. And he would say, "Oh yeah, but it's my house." Yeah, but I'm paying rent for a room, so therefore I'm paying for part of the house. And the guy was just like, "Oh, but it's my house, so I can just take whatever's here then." You didn't buy it, though. It's fucked up. If I tell you a rule, if you want one of my beers, you wait until I get home from work, or if it's my day off, then you can have one and you have it with me. That was my rule. Always has been. Granted, there's people just say, "Hey, I've had a hard day. People live with me. Can I?" And if they would call me and say, "Hey, I've had a hard day. Do you mind if I have one of your beers?" Yeah, yeah, sure. Is everything cool? Yeah. And more than half the time when that happened, it would stay up until I got home and then have another one with me. Say, so this is what happened. It'd be a little bit therapeutic. So that would be cool. I just don't appreciate roommates who disqualify your respect, or the respect that you're asking for, in trade for, oh, but this is my house. Yeah, fuck off with that shit. Like, yeah, can't do that. I can't do that anymore. Roommates are a little bit touchy. It's a little bit of a touchy subject. So, but anyway, back to, where was I going? Oh, it was the end of it. It was the end of the conversation. But yeah, that's pretty much where it went for me. And oh, yeah, I think we're gonna close it out, because if anything, I'm gonna go hang out elsewhere and call it. And it's a basis now, flushed out. Or